right. Good evening. We welcome you back to. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sorry. Welcome to another edition of the High School Football Gridiron Report for North Florida High School Football Gridiron Report. Special Monday edition of a normal Wednesday show because, well, Thursday's Thanksgiving and we didn't really want to do it the night before Thanksgiving. So here we are on a Monday. First time we've done that this year. A little Monday Night Football tonight. Was it Panthers 49ers? That's the game tonight.
Actually, this is our second.
Did we do a Monday? Oh,
Yeah, we did a Monday at Beaufort Radius.
Yes. Why did we do that? I can't remember. Oh, I think I had a game, another game.
Yeah, you had a game Wednesday or something.
We did one on Thursday. We did one on, so we've done every night but Tuesday and obviously Friday. We're not going to usually be able to do that. But anyway, speaking of Friday, busy high school, another busy high school football playoff Friday last week. SSAA wrapped up their season Friday and Saturday with their championship games. We'll get into that. And, of course, more games this week coming after Friday after Thanksgiving. Corey, you were at Palatka. Pretty good win for the Panthers again in the FIT.
Yeah, they really weren't challenged against Hudson. Hudson came in with a passing quarterback, and his interception to touchdown ratio was horrible, and he threw 4 picks, including the first play of the game. Excuse me. He threw a pick 6 on the first play of the game. Unfortunately for Palatka, it was called back for holding, but it led to a score.
Right. and then again, although this week they play
Denellen.
It's the semifinals, right?
Yeah, North Regional Final.
Yeah,
semifinal.
North Region Final, and then the winner will play the winner of
North Miami Beach and Booker T. Washington.
And that'll be next week in the Villages.
Correct.
That'll be next week. Is that now? They move those games now because the Rural Championship game has been moved back to Friday the 5th, apparently. Mm-hmm. It was originally scheduled for the 6th, I thought. So I'm assuming those games will be on the 4th. Is that right? Or is that
Thursday and Friday? They'll have
Thursday
2 games both days. 3 of the 4 will be the FIT, and then the lone non-FIT game will be the Rural Championship game.
Right. Apparently, that's now originally it said it was on the 6th, but it'll be on the 5th now, which means it's going to be up against all the other state semifinal games again. But I'm not sure why they changed that, but something to do with that as well. But so Palatka going to Denellen, you'll be making a trip over there on Friday night, and that'll be a good ball game. Tough game.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never been there. I've never been there for any kind of athletic event. I'm told the school is like off the beaten path.
It is.
Basically, if you don't have GPS and you're not specifically looking for the school, you won't find it.
No, you won't. And it is not in the town. It's probably about 5 miles from the town, and literally, and there's nothing around it. But the thing about it is, I went out there one time trying to do a basketball game, and I got to the gym, and I was trying to call and set up the internet, and the internet was so bad in there that I didn't have a signal for my phone, so I couldn't call anyone.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so it'll be, but that'll be it's a good place for football, though. Should be a good game on Friday night between those two, as the winner will head on to the SSAA championship, or probably FIT championship next week. I'm thinking of SSAA because I'm looking at the our high school rundown as we start looking at the SSAA championship games from this past week. And first off, the 8-man championship goes to Claremont Real Life Christian. No problems with Bradenton Christian, 38-14. The Raptors, 13-0. They finished unbeaten, beating Bradenton Christian, who came in unbeaten. They finished at 12-1. So
on paper, that was supposed to be probably the best game all week or all weekend, and it turned out to be a dominating effort for Real Life Christian.
Yeah, and on paper, you're probably right, but it seems like in reality, the best game of the weekend was the Atlantic League championship game. Right. American Heritage and West Nassau, although we thought coming in, too, that probably would be a good ball game. American Heritage, 9-3. West Nassau was 12-1. And in this game, American Heritage they got out to a lead early on. West Nassau fought back, but it was put away. American Heritage got an interception on 4th down with 2:19 left. They went 51-41 in a high-scoring game. West Nassau, it says held to 241 yards on 53 carries, but that actually is kind of a light night for them rushing. And Skylar Freeman only had 75 yards. Chamoy Green had 18 carries, 50 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's probably a little bit of a light, slow night for West Nassau offensively, the way they've been playing. And as it turned out, American Heritage won that. That was the SSAA Atlantic League Championship game.
Correct. This is the game that everybody was looking forward to before the brackets even came out. We thought these might be the two best teams, although Umatilla might have had to say so, but West Nassau took care of Umatilla.
Right.
And American Heritage, they won a couple state championships or have competed for state championships back in the day when they were FHSAA member. So, I mean, I know it's not the same kids, but that program is used to playing for a state title.
Yeah, they are. And as you said, they have actually won, I believe, a couple. I know one year they beat, I think they beat Trinity Christian one year and won a state title about 15 years ago or so. But so that was the SSAA Atlantic League champion. The 11-man championship goes to Jupiter Christian, who beats Mount Dora Christian 41-19. This was another game coming in. Jupiter Christian 11-1, Mount Dora Christian 12-1. Looked like a really good matchup on paper, but Jupiter Christian ended up having no problems here.
Yeah, I remember last year, Mount Dora Christian was one of the best teams in that division, and North Florida had to go through Mount Dora, and it was tough. Jupiter Christian, and here it is, another team that, at times had some luck in the FHSAA state playoffs, but apparently it's hit kind of hard times, and now they win a state title in the SSAA 11-man title.
Right. Yeah. Again, as you said, they have actually won, I believe, the 1A state title in the past, or 1A, 2A, somewhere in that area. But yeah, so congratulations to them. And then the consolation championships, we had a discussion about this over the weekend. Corey called me, and I was having a discussion with Noah Ram of the Gainesville Sun. We'll talk about that one in a moment. And the 8-man championship consolation, sorry, I have to be Corey here and add that word, consolation. Yes. It was All Saints out of Winter Haven beating St. Francis of Gainesville 36-22. That game was played at All Saints down in Winter Haven. Tied at 6-6 after one. Saints pull away. Hello, the All Saints. That's original. Yeah. End up 9-2. They pulled away to lead 22-14 at the half, 30-16 after three quarters. Jake Long, one of the St. Francis Longs that we were talking about, 198 yards, 32 carries. Wasn't enough. St. Francis, nice run for them to get to that championship. They won 3 road games to get there, and they come up a little bit short in that championship game, 36-22.
Talking to the commissioner, Gabe Brown, they have these consolation playoff brackets because they're hoping that it gives the team something to play for at the end of the year when you're not going to make the main bracket. And maybe this run carries St. Francis into next year, and potentially they can make a run or be on the path to make a run for the state title for real.
Yeah, you're right. That could lead to getting to the next level, and we'll see. His first year coach there at St. Francis, so a team that at one point I think we were talking to Mike Rattle about this last week. I think it actually earlier in the season had to forfeit games due to not have enough players. I mean, they were really struggling at the beginning of the year. So good way to end the season for St. Francis, making it the championship game. Speaking of Gainesville, the 11-man consolation championship goes to Oak Hall from Gainesville. We talked about them a few times. Went on the road last week, beat Masters Academy in the semifinals in Oviedo. This time at the Villages, they beat Cambridge Christian of Tampa 27-10. So the 11-man consolation 3A title goes to the Eagles, who finished 9-4. Cambridge Christian is up 9-5. 3 touchdowns and an interception for Darius Medley, helping the Eagles win the title. That's where we kind of got into the discussion on Sunday, because Noah Ram, who we've had on a couple of times, actually a couple of weeks ago from the Gainesville Sun, was down at the Villages covering it, and he called me and he said, "Isn't this a state championship Oak Hall won?" And I'm going, I don't think it's officially won, because he tweeted that it was the first Gainesville City state champion since Buchholz in 1990, which was a actual state championship. And I told him at the time, like, I don't think that's what you're going to get some pushback on that. I think some people are going to disagree. And Corey at that moment called and said, it's a consolation championship. We said this last week. So it's not officially
every class, 11-man, 8-man, and the Atlantic League, all 3 of those, all have a championship game and a consolation championship game. The Atlantic League decided not to have a consolation championship game because Interlochen and Clewiston mutually agreed for financial reasons not to travel all the way down to Clewiston. And Clewiston's school was being worked on their football stadium was unavailable. So they would have had to rent, I think, not Frostproof, not Fort Meade.
Oh, it was Moorhaven. Moorhaven.
One of those schools. They were going to
Yeah.
have to rent their field.
Right.
It was actually one of the teams that's actually in that league too. So it may have been. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway,
I thought it was Moorhaven.
It would have cost too much to have that game played.
Right.
So, these other two, 8-man, 11-man have a championship bracket and a consolation bracket. And so, just like we said about St. Francis, maybe this is what springboards Oak Hall into finally making a run in the state championship bracket. Because for so many years, Oak Hall has been like 10-0, 9-1, and then knocked out in the first or second round. And maybe this is what they need to kind of get over the hump and, get back into the championship bracket and maybe compete for a state title next year.
Yeah, that's true. And we've seen that from Oak Hall before. So we'll see if they can do that again. But, so Oak Hall, and again, having that conversation with Noah on Saturday, he actually talked to R.J. Fear, the head coach at Oak Hall, after the game, and he said, "Congratulations, state champions." And Coach Fear said, 3A consolation champions. So he said it right. He said it right. But I mean, it's something to celebrate.
At least he acknowledged it, because I know schools that have claimed state titles, and I'm like, no, you didn't win the state title.
Well, anytime, and I'm sure they got a trophy, so it's a big deal. They finished first.
Right.
It's not
I'm
bad.
not saying it's not a big deal. But
yeah, right.
Just don't call yourself state champs.
Yeah. So, and I didn't realize that some schools were doing that either. So, and unlike the FHSAA state champions, now the FIT champions aren't considered state champions either, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
If anybody claims a state title, they're lying.
Yeah, and apparently Auburn's now claiming more national titles. That would be something to talk about in the college report. But
that came out weeks ago, a month ago, that they were going to do that because they rediscovered those. But
they rediscovered them. Yes, somehow they were hiding somewhere. But
I think Florida should do the same thing with a couple of their teams.
1984 national
1985,
champs, 85 SEC champs. Yeah, maybe just make it up. That's
1990, I think.
So make it up. If UCF can make up being national champions
exactly
in 2017, I agree.
So can Alabama. Alabama's got multiple national championships.
That's right.
That they didn't win on the field. In fact, they lost the bowl game, which is even more insane.
That's right, it did.
How do you lose a game and still claim a national championship?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that and in fact, I know we're going off the a little bit off into college area, but in fact, I believe Alabama lost the Sugar Bowl one year. And back then they voted before, so they still were claiming they were national champions. So they claimed it. It's like, okay, we're national champs, even though they lost the bowl game. So yeah, it's weird. All right, so SSAA season is over. Again, the champions and 8-man Claremont Real Life Christian, the Atlantic League champion Delray Beach American Heritage, the 11-man champion Jupiter Christian. The consolation championships go 8-man to All Saints Academy of Winter Haven, and the 11-man consolation championship Oak Hall of Gainesville. So that wraps up the SSAA season. It's over. I mean, we started this back in August, and we were through, and now we're down to the final 3 weeks of the FHSAA season. We've got region finals for some, state semifinals this week. Next week, state championship game from rural classification, the state semis, and then the following.
And Marty, you probably don't remember. Well, actually, you went to a game that they decided not to continue playing the game, but back when Bell and Oak Hall played back in early August, that game actually counted because the SSA starts a week earlier than the FHSAA. So when the FHSAA teams are playing a preseason game, the SSAA starts their season. Their preseason game was a week before that, which was the first week in August.
Yeah, which I believe is the first week we were here.
Yeah.
So it seems like it actually doesn't seem that long ago, but then again, it's starting to seem like long ago. But anyway, all right, on to the FIT we go. As where Corey was last week with Palatka and Hudson. We'll be seeing that on Friday night as well. But in the rural classification for the FIT second round, and this is the area, and this in this Northeast Florida area. Fort White all over Wildwood, 59-0. The number 1 seed, Fort White, no problem with the 9 seed Wildwood. But now, because the 2 teams dropped out, they're supposed to play each other to play Fort White. Fort White's got a bye to the championship game. They don't even play this week. So they're in the championship game next week of the rural FIT.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not bothered by the fact that both schools decided to back out because financially it didn't make sense for Northview, which is all the way in the Panhandle, to go all the way down to Moorhaven.
Yeah, how do they see? They need to do better than that. They can't pair those two together. That doesn't make any sense. You're right. That literally is a about 8 or 9 hour drive. Actually, no, it's more than that because Northview is in Pensacola. It's like 12 hours, 12 hours down there.
So my problem is, but they should have backed out when the bracket came out. Because then that would have given other teams, just like what happened when Palaca and Dinellan's region, you had Rutherford and North Florida Christian back out, but they backed out so early excuse me, that the FHSAA was actually able to schedule Hudson and Lakeland Tenorock. But in the Rural League, because they backed out so late, that wasn't able to happen.
Right. Why did they wait until?
Apparently, it was like a miscommunication. Apparently, they knew from the get-go they were not going to do it. But their local media, no one picked up on it until last week because they both had a bye. Right. Because the bracket wasn't completely full, so they both had a bye. And so then they were going to play each other this past Friday. Yeah. And I remember I was reading some of the local papers out there, and they're like, yeah, I guess they chose to back out. And I'm like, why didn't you back out like 2 weeks ago? Why'd you wait till the week of?
Yeah, I don't get that either. So
yeah.
On the other side of the rural bracket, the other team in our area here, in the FIT, Union County goes down 28-14 to Holmes County. So Union County finishes the season at 2-8. Holmes County will be in the semifinal this week. I forgot who they were playing again. I knew this the other day. Holmes County's playing. Who are they playing this week?
Port St. Joe, I believe.
Oh, Port St. Joe. You're right. So the winner of that game would play Fort White for the FIT Rural Championship. But Union County, their season comes to an end at 2-8. The 1A through 3A we talked a little bit about. Dinellan eliminates Andrew Jackson 40-24. Palaca over Hudson 30-6. Palaca at Dinellan in the North Championship game this week. And then 1A through 3A, the semifinals, basically. 4A through 7A, Bartram Trail, they made that long trip to Tate, nearly pulled it off, but lost that game 21-19. So
I think I read that Bartram Trail was in the red zone, was under like 12 seconds to go, and Tate picked him off in the end zone.
Yeah, so Bartram Trail, who won at Matanzas the following week, and they were able to make that long trip over the Tate and give him a game there. So Bartram, we'll probably see them back in the FHSAA postseason next year. This is a rare year, but they haven't been in the playoffs, regular playoffs too. But they made a nice run there. So the only game left in the FIT this week is Palaca and Dinellan. Both teams are 6-6. That's Friday night. And that North Division, North Region semi or final, the semifinal that's recorded will be. So that is the FIT look right now. As next week we'll be talking about the championship games there as well. All right, on to the FHSAA playoffs. And again, we will have picks coming up later on in the show. Coming up at 9:00 tonight, the College Football Report, North Florida College Football Report. We'll talk about the busy time in college football. Also looking forward to rivalry week this week, and we'll be joined by Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun, to talk about, well, we know this is finally going to end, the Kiffin saga, University of Florida, between Florida, LSU, and Ole Miss. It's supposed to be ending this weekend, so that'll be the last time we talk about that. But that's coming up at 9:30 tonight as well. But right now, looking at the FHSAA playoffs, we'll start in the rural classification. And it was number 1 seed Blountstown holding off the 9th seed Madison County 33-32. Defending champs Madison County go down by a point. Apparently a goal line stand late for Blountstown wins that game.
Literally the last play of the game, Madison County's like in the 5-yard line, and they thought they scored and started celebrating, and Blountstown's like, no, we stopped you. We win. So tough situation to lose the game, but kudos to Blountstown.
Yeah, kudos to them. And as they knock out the defending state champ Madison County, and even though they're the 1 seed, I think you and I both picked Madison to win this game, even though it was on the road. and they nearly did. They nearly pulled it off. So,
Yeah.
but the season, they were only 6-6 this year, but their schedule was brutal. And I saw some people. Price Harris put a long post on Facebook over the weekend, and some coaches actually responded. And Larry Bluestein, of course, from South Florida, Miami Herald, and he said, "Yeah, your schedule is something that should be looked at by other schools." I'm like, I guess, but yeah, I mean, it will prepare you for the postseason. So, and they nearly pulled off that upset as well. Another upset that was pulled off, although it is a 5 beating a 4, Pahokee making that long trip to Perry, beating Taylor County 17-7. So guess what? Pahokee will mount me to make an even longer trip to Bluntstown this week in a region final match, actually state semifinal, pardon me, in the rural classification. But good win for Pahokee on the road against Taylor County.
Yeah, I think we both picked Taylor County because Taylor County had played really well all year, but great win by the Blue Devils there.
Yeah, and again, now they got to make an even longer trip to Bluntstown this week. The 3rd seed Chiefland, no problem without their quarterback, defeated the 6th seed Baker 49-19. Now Chiefland will travel to Hawthorne. Williston, this was not close. Hawthorne nearly pitched a shutout. They end up beating with 7th seed Williston 30-8. So the Hawthorne Hornets again moving on to the semifinals. They will try to make their 6th consecutive state championship game in the rural classification if they can beat Chiefland at home Friday night. I guess not terribly surprising, although I think I thought Williston would give them a better game.
When you're one-dimensional, it's harder to advance in the playoffs because, I'm assuming Wilson doesn't really throw much.
They don't. And, Robbie Pruitt never has. They
run that wing tee to death.
Right. And that's his game.
It takes a special team to be one-dimensional to make it all the way to the state championship game.
Right.
And, you got to have a really good team and a great defense to make that kind of run. And, Hawthorne's a little more balanced, even though their quarterback was also banged up.
Yeah, he was. And, but yeah, I think that Williston, that's exactly the way Robbie Pruitt runs it. I mean, Robbie Pruitt runs it. He always has. And he's won a lot of state championships in games like that. But Williston ran into right now, the red hot coach is Cornelius Ingram. The red hot team is Hawthorne. They seem to find ways to win, and they were able to throw the ball some against Williston on Friday night.
Yeah, I love because Noah went out there to cover that game on Friday. After covering, did he cover 3 games in a row? Because
no game Thursday.
Okay, just, then he went to Ocall on Saturday, the Ocall game.
Yeah.
He asked Coach Ingram, how many regional titles does this make in a row? Like 4 or 5, and he's like, no, 6. More like 7, 8, I think.
That might be actually, yes, region titles, yes. I think they have won 7 in a row. I think they lost when you're in the state semifinals, but they've won 5 years in a row. They've been in the state championship game last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, and they're 2-3. But it's been pretty steady success there for Hawthorne. They'll get a battle from Chiefland though this week, and that is the game Friday night. The 3 seed Chiefland 11-1, the 2 seed Hawthorne 9-1. I think they'll get a battle from Chiefland. Chiefland has won 9 games in a row now since their only loss of the season to Baker County. Williston had actually won 10 in a row coming into last week, but it'll be tough for Chiefland, but they're good. They're a good team.
So they got John Adams, and then of course they got a couple other athletes too.
Right.
Because I thought John Adams was their go-to guy, and stat-wise, he's not really.
No.
I think John's going to Marshall. He committed to Marshall early on, and but looking at their stats, I'm like, oh, they got another tailback. They got another receiver. Okay. Yeah.
So they do. So we'll see what happens. That'll be Friday night at Hawthorne. I've already talked to Noah. He's actually going to be at he's going to be at Buell's Mandarin on Friday night.
Okay.
So that's where he'll be this week. 1A Region 1, we'll move on to 1A University Christian, the 1 seed, no problem with the 5 seed Impact Christian 28-6. And they will now play Trinity Christian, the Conquerors, over McClay 56-28. This game was actually pretty close for a while. I think.
Early on it was
35-28 or 28-21, I believe, and then Trinity Christian pulled away. But Trinity's won 7 in a row. They get a rematch with University Christian, 8-4 against 9-3. And I think this is a game we kind of look forward to every year between these two. They always have a pretty competitive game, and not surprisingly, that's what we'll have this Friday night in Jacksonville over at UC.
I was actually surprised when I was looking at that I thought for sure they played in the regular season this year, but they didn't. So this is the first time they played since the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they didn't play during the regular season. You're right.
Yeah.
And last year, I think UC won last year against Trinity, right? Or was it Trinity won?
I think Trinity won.
It may have been 2 years ago. I know UC beat them recently. But yeah, that's right. Trinity did win it last year. All right, 2A Region 1 for Bowls, no problem. The 1 seed over the 4 seed Florida High, 51-27. So in that region final this week, they will get Pensacola Catholic at home, 11-1 against 11-1. So Pensacola Catholic will make the long trip to Jacksonville on Friday to play Bowls, and Bowls just keeps rolling.
Yeah, they're so well-rounded. I mean, they can run the ball, they can throw the ball. They got a very mobile quarterback. I've known that kid since he was like in middle school. Eric Weatherly. I'm sorry, not Eric. Eric already graduated. Jaden Weatherly. Eric went to Duke and then went somewhere else after that.
Yeah.
He hit the transfer portal. But, yeah, Bowls is so loaded. But that game's going to be really competitive. Pensacola Catholic, usually they're in the playoffs every year.
They are, and they've had some really good teams through the years as well. Again, that's a long trip to have to make to Bowls, and Bowls is really good at home. Now, if Bowls does win that game, well, on the other side, well, actually, they would see on the other side, Cocoa or Bradford. Bradford, they got down early against Berkeley Prep in that game, but they came back, ended up winning only by 10, 24-14. That was a good Berkeley Prep team, number 1 seed or the 5 seed. So now, again, a rematch. This time it'll be in Stark. Cocoa and Bradford on Friday night. Cocoa 7-4, the 3 seed who went to Clearwater and knocked off the 2 seed Calvary Christian in a real close game. Now they'll come to Bradford to play the 1 seed this Friday night. So
and
Bradford
just to give
once
you a little
again has a
insight
shot
to
at
that
Cocoa.
game.
Yeah,
Cocoa put on social media they won like 12 or 13, maybe more consecutive regional titles.
Right.
Like it's been a long time since Cocoa did not get to the state semifinals. And, some would say this is a down year for Cocoa because of the record, but they did play a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And Bradford, has played a couple of decent teams. Mandarin, they didn't play IMG. Newberry, Santa Fe. I'm trying to think of anybody else that stands out on their schedule. But definitely, I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game, but it should be a low-scoring game, like 24-17 probably.
That's the way Bradford plays, yeah. I agree. And Cocoa, although Cocoa can – I think they're a team that can score points. They won that game against Calvary Christian 34-33, so a little bit higher scoring. But you're right. That's Jamie Rogers' thing. They play defense at Bradford. I think 14 to Berkeley Prep may have tied the most points they've allowed all season in the game. I think they gave up 14 to Mandarin. Their only loss was 14-7.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that was it for them. But, all right, 3A Region 1. This is where, first of all, 1 seed Reigns, again, no problem. 54-0 over the 5 seed West Florida. And the game
I went back and looked, Marty. I'm like, man, kind of like Bishop Kenny. When's the last time Reigns played a close game? And that would be
not this year.
No, they did play Madison County.
Oh, that's right. Well, it was like 21.
It's the one game that they did not put a running clock on.
Yeah, I think it was 21-7 or something like that. In fact, I was just looking at this afternoon.
Yeah,
a little while ago. They beat Madison 27-14.
Right.
That is the only game that they have not had a running clock in this year. Their next closest game, was Trinity Christian, 48-14, 34 points. So, yeah, and they've been dominant. And so far, their 2 playoff games, 97-6. Now, they do play Bishop Kenny, who beat Godby 55-37. 3 seed Bishop Kenny over the 7 seed Godby. Defense was optional in that game. And in that game, by the way, Caleb Madison rushed for 369 yards later and 5 touchdowns. He pretty much took over that game. Godby had a pretty good passing attack. They have a really good receiver, Jamarin Simmons, who's a 4-star recruit who's being recruited by a lot of people. He had some big plays. But Bishop Kenny defensively they struggle a little bit. They can score points, and that's what may be a little bit of difference. I'm not saying they're going to beat Reigns. I don't think they're going to, but I think it's going to be a little bit a better game that Reigns has had, and probably better than last year's game, which was a running clock. But I guess we'll see Friday night. It will be Bishop Kenny at Reigns for the second straight year. In the 3A region final, one region final, Bishop Kenny 10-2, Reigns 11-0. So that's where I'll be on Friday. A return trip to the old graveyard there. Yeah, that's the first time I'd been there last year for a football game all those years, and yeah, it's a good atmosphere there. At Reigns.
I can remember going games there when Reigns was not that great, but over the last since the 90s, they've had some really good teams and some really bad teams.
Yeah, they of course.
And when they're on,
yeah,
that is a very tough place to play.
Oh yeah, they're on right now. I mean, we've seen this run they've been making. I mean, they were the first Duval County public school to win the state title back in 1997. They did it about 5-6 years ago. Went back to back 2016 and 17, and they have been in the state championship game last year against Miami Northwestern. So yeah, that has been a good run for Reigns. That was Walton Coffey who was coaching them in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Then for a long time it was who was it that I can't
Coach Wiley.
Yes, Deron Wiley.
Deron Wiley,
who led them to the back-to-back state titles, and Donovan Maslin has got them going as well. So
former player too.
Right. So Reigns, we'll see again against Bishop Kenny. That'll be a region final. 3A Region 2, East Side, good season for them. For Gator Hoskins, it comes to an end, 36-8 against Bishop Moore. I was hoping East Side would give them a little bit better game, but it didn't go down like that. So East Side ends up 9-3, but another district title, 4 straight playoff appearances for the Rams. So Bishop Moore ends their season. 4A Region 1, boy, how about St. Augustine? Ed White, didn't they set a record most points scored in a season?
Most points statewide this year, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Marty. It started on a bad foot. They ran into traffic issues because 95 was a parking lot. I was told there was a massive wreck on 95.
Oh, right. Going from Ed
they
White down
showed
to
up.
St.
The game started 30 minutes late. They didn't start at 7 o'clock. They started at 7:30. They really should have just turned back around and went home.
Oh, okay. Sounds like it. Well, we talked about this last week. I thought Ed White would give him a game, but I expected it to be higher scoring. But as you said last week, St. Augustine has a defense. Ed White doesn't. You saw it. St. Augustine only gave up 12 points. In fact, this was I think they shut out Ed White the first 3 quarters of the game.
Right.
And Ed White got some late points after the game was pretty much the game was pretty much the result was known. What's that?
I didn't say anything.
We're having some.
I'm here. Well, I guess Marty left us, so I'll just continue to talk while he. Oh, Marty's back. Marty. Okay, well. So, while we're waiting on Marty to come back, Marty is trying to come back. Choctaw, Columbia. So Columbia was up 20-13 with like 5 minutes to go, in control of the game, and Choctaw blocks a punt.
Sorry, I found it.
Okay.
My bad. I don't know what's going on with this connection. Go ahead.
Well, I was just talking about Choctaw and Columbia. Columbia led that game 20-13 with 5 minutes to go.
Right.
They were in total control of the game. They led for almost the whole entire game. Well, up until the last 5 minutes, they led. And Choctaw blocked a punt to tie the game. Columbia got the ball back and was driving potentially for a go-ahead score, and they threw a pick 6.
Yeah, that game, like you said, that game, Columbia had that game. They were leading most of the time and just got away from them, but it had a chance to win in the fourth quarter as well. So pretty impressive to go to Choctaw and nearly win that game. And now Choctaw's got to make that trip across again to play St. Augustine on Friday night.
Yeah, this has become an annual I don't know if it's a regional final every year, but it seems like these two teams end up playing each other second or third round every year.
Right.
But I don't think St. Augustine's ever had to go out there. I think Choctaws come here every single time.
You know, I think they did maybe once, but you're right. For the most part of it, they've been home for these games. I know that Choctaw about 4 or 5 years ago won there in like a double overtime, or it was a really close game. But other than that, I think St. Augustine has won the games at home. I think they had Crestview and some other teams like that they played. But
yeah, I've been in many playoff games at St. Augustine, and they always get stuck. Luckily, they played Ed White this year, but most of the time, they're either playing a Milton, a Crestview, or
right.
Escambia, Pine Forest, Pensacola High,
Yeah,
West Florida, maybe. I mean,
West
they
Florida.
always get stuck playing one of those teams out there in the Panhandle, and here we go again. They get Choctaw.
Yep, they get Choctaw. So both teams 11-1. That'll be Friday night, the 4A Region 1 final. 4A Region 2, Ocala Vanguard season comes to an end again against Orlando Jones. Close game, though, 29-18. They hung in there for a while, but Vanguard's season comes to an end as they finish at 9-3. 5A Region 1, this one surprised us a bit because you and I both picked Beachside in this game. They beat Ponte Vedra in the regular season. Not so much this time. Beachside managed 3 points. 38-3 Ponte Vedra rolls to the region final. Maybe we didn't respect the number 1 seed Ponte Vedra as much as we should have.
Well, Beachside had beat them before.
I know.
But the difference was Ponte Vedra jumped on them early, and they scored pretty much every possession in the first half. I mean, that game was over in the first quarter. And Beachside kept going 3 and out, and Beachside kept making mistakes. You know, I think they had a couple of turnovers, maybe like a block punt or a block field goal, and it just kept going and going. And Ponte Vedra just jumped on them and just never let off the gas.
Yeah, they didn't. And Ponte Vedra, again, we maybe were a little surprised they were the 1 seed in that region. They had to go to OT to beat Niceville last week, who we said was a pretty dangerous 8 seed. But this time in a rematch with Beachside, they had no problem winning 38-3. And now they get the Mainland Bucks. Mainland had to battle with Mosley out of Panama City. 36-31, Mainland wins that game at home. Now Mainland will travel to Ponte Vedra on Friday night. The 2 seed of the 1 seed, Mainland 9-2, Ponte Vedra 10-2. That'll be the 5A Region 1 final on Friday.
Yeah. I don't think we're shocked by Mainland being there, but probably Ponte Vedra were definitely even though they had the number 1 seed and home field advantage, especially the way they handled Beachside. But they get another home game. So who knows what happens with that game.
Yeah, I don't believe Ponte Vedra has been to the state semifinals since they played for the state championship that year. And that was Nick Tronte. 2016, I believe. Yeah, somewhere like that. And they nearly beat American Heritage that year. Plantation in the final.
Well, it's funny because you know where he went to college, right?
Nick Tronte went a few places, but I'm trying to think where he ended up.
He started out at the number 2 team in the country right now.
Indiana, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he didn't end up staying there, but you're right. He was originally signed with Indiana. So this was back when they had Michael Penix at Indiana. Michael Penix Jr. was there before he went to Washington.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Remember? So Indiana really recruited Florida hard because their coach, Tom Allen, had coached in Tampa. He'd been in Florida for a while. So, but anyway, we'll see if Ponte Vedra can get back to the state semifinals with a win this week against Mainland. 6A Region 1.
While you get to 1-6A and 1-7A, I forgot my notebook, so I'm going to step out to get that, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
6A Region 1, Buchholz and Nice. This game came down to the wire. It was tied. Buchholz scored with about a minute and a half to go. Justin Williams getting the end zone, and then a pick six. Justin Williams, who in the last 4 games has started playing defense for Buchholz, actually picks off a Nice pass, takes it back to end it. Buchholz wins that 29-17. They'll now host the Mandarin Mustangs in the 6A Region 1 final. The 2 seed Mandarin, they had a game with pace. We thought they would. Mandarin in a shootout wins 42-35 over the 3 seed Pace. So the 2 seed Mandarin, the 1 seed Buchholz will play on Friday night. The 6A Region 1 final. Both teams are 11-1. Talked to Mike right out today. That will be his game of the week coming up this week on 106.9 I Am Country in Gainesville, their game of the week. And also that'll be an NFHS Network video broadcast. So Mike will Didn't have a game last week. He was off. He'll be back this Friday night, the day after Thanksgiving, for Buchholz and Mandarin. So, and that should be quite a battle. The winner of that trying to move on to the state semifinals. Buchholz, if they win, they most likely would host again. So Corey is there. He is. Now I wanted to ask you, Corey. I'll wait till he gets everything there. But the Buchholz in that game against Nice, that game was tied with a minute and a half to go. And then Justin Williams scored, and then he got a pick six in the last 30 seconds, I think, to end it. So Buchholz was in a battle with Nice.
Yeah, I was telling you. Yeah, but I was texting you while you were at your game, and I was like, "Oh man, they're really talking about Justin Williams. He got the pick six." And as he's running down the sideline, he puts out the peace sign to the Nice sideline. And
peace Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that went well with the Nice people.
Yeah, the UF commit, Justin Williams, UF signee there. He probably will be signing with UF, I got to think, although we'll see with the coaching change. But, yeah, he had a little bit more quiet year offensively this year. Last year he went over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. This year he's been kind of double and triple team, so it hasn't been the same. Buchholz has had other guys that have picked it up, but he has started to play better. And then, again, like I said, I think in the Bartram Trail game they started playing him on defense. And I know that night he had or in the game against Oviedo the week before, he had a fumble recovery and nearly took that back for a score. So, and now Buchholz gets Mandarin. We mentioned, and you and I said last week, Mandarin and Pace would be a good game. It was. Mandarin back and forth with Pace, a real shootout. Mandarin did win 42-35. So, we were kind of hoping this would be the game in the region final. Sure enough, it will be Mandarin and Buchholz on Friday at Citizens Field in Gainesville. Yeah,
that's going to be a war. Yeah, well, and it's really the only game in town because
it is.
Oak Hall's done, St. Francis is done.
Yeah,
I mean, other than Hawthorne
yeah.
being home,
East side's out. Yeah,
right. If you're in the Gainesville area, that's the game to go watch.
Yeah, and again, as I said, that will be the 106.9 AM Country Mike Rideout game of the week on Friday night at Citizens Field. They also will have an NFHS Network video broadcast of that game on Friday, so that will be something to watch. And then the final region is 7A Region 1. DeLand just keeps rolling 65-17 for the 1 seed DeLand over the 4 seed Boone, and now they will get Lake Mary, the 2 seed. Lake Mary pulls away from Spruce Creek 50-20 to win that one. So the 2 seed Lake Mary 9-3 at the 1 seed DeLand 12-0. I tell you, I think DeLand could win that classification. They are that good. But they'll get a test from Lake Mary this week, though.
Yeah, of course, we talked about Lake Mary's quarterback he's committed to Notre Dame, but it's going to take a bunch of him to knock off DeLand. DeLand seems like they've kind of like Reigns. They seem like they're putting a running clock on everybody they play, too.
Yeah, they do. They do seem like they're doing that. So that'll be the 7A Region 1 final coming up on Friday night. So that's a look at the FHSAA playoffs. And again, we are down to this Friday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Well, 10 counting Palatka Denellen in the playoffs, FHSAA playoffs and FIT playoffs. We're down to 10 games this week. In our area, North Central Florida. So it's getting down to the nitty gritty there. And of course, again, in 2 weeks, we'll have state championships in Miami. Next week, the state championship in the Villages for FIT and rural. So, yeah, Corey, this season's, we're about done here. I mean, it's hard to believe. We are. And really, before we go now, and we're only an hour tonight, we're back to our normal hour. And we'll be back next Wednesday at our normal time, 8 to 9. Probably from before Brady's and Stark, I believe. But again, this week we're on a Monday due to the Thanksgiving holiday. But we'll be back to our normal day next week as the state championships will be Thursday and Friday next week. So we want to preview those for the FIT and the rural and the state semifinals on Friday. But we have our last thing to do this week, of course, as always, are the picks. And Corey, any better news this week for you?
Hold on. I'm making sure I'm not forgetting that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm missing a game. No. You know, the trumpet is sounding. We're playing taps. But here's the good news. We tied.
Okay.
Which doesn't help me at all.
No, but
We both went 23-5.
that's good. A good week again.
So that puts you at 181-41. I'm
Okay.
still 20 behind. So I'm at 161-61.
You're literally going to have to pick the opposite of me in every game remaining that we have to
Pretty much, yeah.
to catch up. Okay, well, anyway, we'll enjoy it. We'll have some fun. We'll see. We'll go in the next few weeks and see if you can. I'll give you some credit if you can do better than me the next few weeks. We'll worry about the rest of the week results, but this should be a good week too. And again, we only have 11 games now this week to cover to pick, including the FIT game, and then you also added one of the other rural semifinal. I see.
Yeah, because we were getting so low, I was like, well, I need to add at least one more game if I can.
Yeah, right.
So
we'll start with the FIT game. Palaca and Denellen, both teams are 6-6. Am I going first again since I'm?
You can, yeah. I'll go first in college.
All right, Palaca, Denellen. Yeah, I mean, Palaca's been playing well. They've been at home against those games, though. But Denellen also has been playing well at home. I mean, they've had no problem with Andrew Jackson. They had no problem the week before with Pensacola, and for that reason, because I think Denellen may have had a shot actually to make the FHSAA playoffs. I'm taking Denellen to win this game at home against Palaca.
But just to give you a little insight, I'm actually writing my preview after we get done with our high school and college shows tonight. Denellen has played 7 playoff teams. Palaca has played 7 playoff teams.
Yeah.
They're really spitting, like if you look in a mirror, they're looking at each other. I mean, coach said, yeah, they run a little spread, but they also run the wing tee. Defensively, offensively, they're both really well, but both play well. Defensively, Denellen's defense is kind of suspect. But because Denellen has a tremendous running back, and that's been like the Achilles heel for Palaca all years, stopping the run with Newberry, Santa Fe, Bradford. As much as I would like to see Palaca to win, I think Denellen's going to win.
Yeah, and I understand that from the fact that you cover them a lot during the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if Palaca won this game, but I would have a feeling Denellen.
For Palaca to win, they're going to have to. Coach said the perfect scenario would be Denellen receives the kick, Denellen goes 3 and out, Palaca gets the ball, goes on a 12-play drive, scores, and takes up half the first quarter.
So they got to run the clock. Yeah, basically.
And they run the triple option, which is very possible.
Right. That's true. It is. So that will be, again, that's Friday night's game in the FIT 1A through 3A semifinal. That's the North Championship game. That's where Corey will be on Friday. All right. We will go to the back to the FHSAA playoffs, the rural state semifinal. Pahokee 9-3 and Bluntstown 11-0. Well, I took Madison last week to win at Bluntstown, and they nearly did. But in this case, I mean, Pahokee had a nice win at Taylor County, but I don't see them going north 2 weeks in a row and winning. This Bluntstown team, hey, who knows? They might be able to beat Hawthorne and Chiefland and win the state title. So they are the number 1 seed. So I'm going to take Bluntstown to win against Pahokee.
Yeah, I agree because, you're talking about back-to-back trips. And then if they win, they have to make, next week they would go to the Villages, so a little closer. But I'm going with Bluntstown. Bluntstown playing at home, and they're undefeated. Got to go with the Tigers.
Okay. So we both take Bluntstown. We both take the Denellen Tigers and the Bluntstown Tigers in the first 2 games. No Tigers in this game. Chiefland and Hawthorne, the Indians and the Hornets, 11-1 and 9-1. The 3-seed Chiefland, the 2-seed Hawthorne. Well, I said this last week. Did you take Williston last week? I think you did. Actually.
No, I did not.
You did not think. For some reason, I thought you were thinking about it. But
no.
Again, I like Chiefland. Really good team. They've won 9 in a row. They're playing good football. But I'm not picking against Hawthorne until somebody beats them, especially at Hawthorne. They have not lost a home game in 5 years, maybe. And as we saw last week, no problem with Williston. So I'm going to take Hawthorne. Again, until somebody beats them there, I'm not going to pick against them.
Not so fast, my friend.
Really? Corey is, though.
Chiefland.
Okay, why?
I've liked them from the whole entire year. When
Yeah.
when they knocked off Wilson in the home, probably the game of the year. John Adams is a tremendous player.
Yeah.
Why not go with Chiefland?
Why not?
And they
well,
lost
you're
the
right. Why
quarterback.
not is true at this point.
The quarterback, unfortunately, towards ACL, he's going to have surgery. He's out.
Yeah.
But they found a way to beat Baker.
Well,
they
and
will find a way to beat Hawthorne.
Hawthorne's quarterback Richard Roundtree Jr. is injured too. He played last week, but he was definitely affected. Their running back Gillens had 3 touchdowns. So Hawthorne seems to find ways to win. But you're right, Chiefland did find a way to win too without their quarterback last week. So Corey takes Chiefland, I take Hawthorne. 1A Region 1, Trinity Christian at University Christian, 8-4 against 9-3. Well, here we are with this game. I mean, early in the year, I probably would have taken UC in this game because I'm really impressed with the way UC had played. I saw them week 1 against Bishop Kenny. They nearly won that game. They lost to a blocked extra point. But now Trinity's coming in kind of like the old Trinity teams. They've won 7 in a row. They've been rolling through teams. I know this game's at UC, but for some my connection's gone again. What's going on? Anyway, Trinity. I know it's at UC, but I'm going to go with the Conquerors. I'm not picking against the Verdulon Dormini in this game.
All right. I am going to agree with you because the schedule that Trinity has played, UC has played a so-so schedule. I know they're the home team in this game, but Trinity's on a roll right now. I got to go with Trinity.
Yeah, UC has, again, they lost to Bishop Kenny. They lost to that team in Miami, True North. They went down and played, who's pretty good. And their third loss escapes me right now. But, yeah. And, again, Trinity's won 7 in a row. So, all right, Pensacola Catholic and Bowls, both teams 11-1. I see that. This is 2A Region 1 final. I see both teams are 11-1, but that doesn't really – they're not the same to me. Bowls' schedule, too, has been tougher. Bowls is at home. I think Bowls is going to win the 2A state title, so I'm not going to stop picking them. I'm picking Bowls in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Bowls because even though Pensacola Catholic has experience going this far, Bowls, man, they just got too many weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we'll take Bowls there. 2A Region 2. Well, this is going to be fun. Cocoa 7-4, Bradford 11-1. We are not across the street from Bradford High School tonight, but that will be rocking on Friday night there and off US 301 in Stark. Bradford trying to advance back to the state semifinals. They played Cocoa for the state title 2 years ago. Cocoa beat them. The Cocoa beat them the year before that in the state semifinals. So this is a game you got to know Jamie Rogers and Bradford have had on their mind for a while, and now it's here. I think I don't know. This one is tough. I mean, obviously. And Cocoa, to me, if Cocoa is at home, you don't pick against them. But this game at Stark, I actually think Bradford's going to win this game. I've got the Tornadoes. I think, in fact, of course, that means they'll probably play Bowls next week, and that's going to be a battle. But I think Bradford beats Cocoa this year. I think.
Well, Molly, that's not a guarantee because
they switch. That's right.
Switch. That could be.
I forgot. Yeah.
That could be a 1-2 matchup. So
they reseed. They reseed. My bad. Yeah. So it's too bad. Well, maybe they might play in the state championship game. Who knows? But
right.
But I like Bradford to beat Cocoa.
Give me Cocoa. Cocoa's won
Cocoa
a crap load of regional titles.
Of course they have.
They're battle tested. They've had a tremendous schedule. And Cocoa already beat Bradford, even though it didn't count this year. Bradford went down to Cocoa and played, and Cocoa won in the preseason for that. And I'm going with Cocoa.
Wasn't that that's a pretty close game too, wasn't it?
It was like a 17-14, 21-17 type of game.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So we do have a difference there. Not bad. Not bad. So we have a couple, 2 now, I think, between the two. So, yeah. I was going to say, maybe we'll have a difference in this game. Bishop Kenny at Rains. Bishop Kenny 10-2, Rains 11-0. This is a 3A Region 1 final. As well as I do that I broadcast Bishop Kenny football. I've said this many times for 16 years. And there have been times this year where I picked Bishop Kenny to win, like against Bowls, where I kind of went out and homeward picked. But I can't do it in this game. I just can't, because I saw Reigns last year. Reigns this year has been rolling. As much as Bishop Kenny's good. Don't get me wrong; they are a good team. They score a lot of points, but defensively, there's an issue there, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to stop Reigns. I'm not going. I'm going to take Reigns at home. I mean, I hate to say it. If Bishop Kenny wins, I'll sit here next week and be like, "Hey, cool, they won. We're in the state semifinals." And by the way, Bishop Kenny has never been past the region final. This is as far as they've been. This is the fourth time, second year in a row. And of course, Reigns has won state title, so Reigns has got the experience. I think Reigns will win. As you hear, I'm not very happy to say that, but
I am picking Bishop Kenny.
What?
To go home.
Okay. Like I say, please, if you're taking Bishop Kenny, I'm switching because damn it, no, that's funny.
Picking to go home.
Yeah, I know. Got Reigns, huh?
Yeah.
Nice Lee Corso moment there. You kind of went this way and then zigzagged a bit. All right. 4A Region 1, Choctaw and St. Augustine, both teams 11-1. I think St. Augustine may play for the state title in this classification. And I know this is a really good Choctaw team, but they struggled a bit against Columbia last week. I've got the Yellow Jackets winning again at home.
Yeah, St. Augustine's really good at home. It takes a really good team, which Choctaw is. For that, I'm going the Yellow Jackets as well.
Okay, so both with St. Augustine there. 5A Region 1, Mainland, the 2 seed 9-2, the 1 seed Ponte Vedra 10-2. You know what? I picked against Ponte Vedra last week. They blew out Beachside. I know we like Mainland as a team, but I'm going to switch it this week. I played at home. I think I've underrated them a bit. I'm going to take Ponte Vedra, the 1 seed, to win this game.
Not so fast.
Yeah, I figured.
Experience plays a big factor in this.
Okay.
Mainland just played for a state title. Actually, won a state title
2 years ago,
a couple years ago when they beat St. Augustine on a late field goal. Give me Mainland.
Okay. All right. 6A Region 1, Mandarin at Buchholz, both teams 11-1. Well, again, I think I've said from the beginning that I think Buchholz may play for the state title this year if they can get through this region. Mandarin gave up a lot of points to Pace. I think Buchholz is better defensively. I think they're better on the offensive side. It's pretty even, but Buchholz doesn't lose. I mean, they've lost, I think, 1 game in 4 years at Citizens Field. That's another thing. They're home, and I think they find a way to win. I'll take Buchholz. Not so fast, my friend.
Give me the Mustangs.
You got Mandarin? Okay, fair enough. And why?
What's the kid's name? The right stuff. I can't think of his name right now, but that kid is a young kid. He played for the Jaguars National Championship 7-on-7 team.
The 7-on-7 guy. Yeah. He's good. He's really
Mandarin's got some athletes too, especially on both, especially on defense.
They do.
And offense. I've been overlooking Mandarin all year. Give me Mandarin.
Have you? Well, yeah, because I think you picked Oakleaf.
I think I picked Oakleaf for Nice to beat them too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've liked Mandarin all year, but I like Buchholz too. This is a tough one for me, really, because I really like both these teams. But I'm taking Buchholz. All right, last game, 7A Region 1, Lake Mary, DeLand. Lake Mary 9-3, DeLand 12-0. Again, I think DeLand may win the 7A title. I'm going to keep with them. DeLand wins at home.
Yeah, DeLand is on another level right now. I think, there might be some college teams that DeLand could beat right now. That's how well they're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe not D1, but Division 2, Division 3 kind of teams. But,
right.
DeLand has been killing everybody.
Yep. So that is it. DeLand.
So we have 4 differences.
Not bad. I have 11 games. That's not bad at all. So we'll see how that goes. And we will be following those scores on Friday night from around the area. Wow, look at that. 1 hour straight up again. I don't know how we always do that, but right now it hits 1 hour at 9:01. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of the North Florida High School Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. Wishing everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with family and friends on Thursday, and then lots of good football to follow on Friday night. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Corey.
You too, Marty.
All right. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, in fact, for the college football report. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back Wednesday next week from 8 to 9 with the high school football gridiron report. But that is it for this Monday night. We'll talk to you again next week, and enjoy this state region final state semi